It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. This is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life. I am Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst and a certified financial planner. My executive producer is always lurking in the background. He sometimes pops on the microphone. His name is Mark Talercio, and he is the executive producer of this program, but he's also a certified financial planner. So that's why every now and again, I'll bring him on the mic with me to noodle through a situation. If you need some assistance in making a big decision in your life that touches your money in some way, Mark and I are here to help. All you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and write us a note. And if you would like to join us live, the only thing you need to do is just check the box, and Mark does everything else. While you're on the website, please, I encourage you to sign up for our free weekly newsletter. It comes out every Friday. Mark does a great job of finding stories that you may have missed during the week. There's so much going on, and I know that everyone's quite distracted all the time. Some of these stories are really interesting, and they do give you a little more context to what's going on in the economy, or maybe how to treat your own personal finances. So check it out. That's the free weekly newsletter. It comes out every Friday. Also, I would be remiss in not telling you to buy my book, The Great Money Reset. Remember, this book is inspired by you. So many of you called us, got in touch with us during COVID. You were really contemplating big changes, and we developed a lot of, I think, best practices for how to make these decisions. That's what the book is all about. The steps you need to take to turn the chaos of a change into a wonderful opportunity for you and maybe your family. So The Great Money Reset, it's available in paperback. All right. Now, let us get to you. We are starting the show today with Lori, who's on the line from Ohio. Hello, Lori. How are you?
Good morning, Jill. I'm doing great.
Tell us what's happening. How can we help you?
So I'm getting ready to retire. I'm eligible next year, and I've been hearing a lot about Roth conversions. Mm-hmm. And I work for the state of Ohio, so I have the option to take a POP in addition to my pension. So I'm just wondering on those two items what I should do.
Explain your acronym, please.
I don't know what the specific letters stand for, but it's a lump sum that you can take out of your retirement account, and then it reduces your monthly pension amount.
Okay. So first of all, you're so close. How old are you?
I'll be 59 in August.
You and I are 1965 girls. Okay. So do you like what you do?
Yes, I do, but it's very stressful.
Oh, all right. Ideally, the idea that you are eligible for retirement, you would like to retire. In other words, it's not like, oh, I'm eligible and I want to chill out for another 5 years and keep working, right?
So just because I'm so young, I won't be eligible for health care.
Mm-hmm. So we can buy that for you.
We could, but I'm thinking, maybe I'll work another year or two.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be prepared if I change my mind and decide to go.
Okay. All right. So tell us about a couple of things. Number one, are you married, single, partnered?
I am married.
Okay. And does spouse also work right now?
He is semi-retired. He took his full retirement through Social Security, and then he works 3 days a week.
And how much money does he bring in?
He brings in about $4,600 a year, or $40,600 a year.
Okay. How much do you earn right now?
About 105.
Okay. And are you making contributions to the pension? Is that mandatory? Are you doing anything else from that 105?
Yes, I contribute to OPERS about $9,800 a year. Mm-hmm. My husband and I both fully fund a Roth. And then I have a deferred comp through work that I contribute about $6,500 a year.
Wow, you're saving like crazy. Do you spend any money? Wait a second.
No,
how could you spend anything? But it just sounds like you're giving me a lot of numbers that you were putting aside, and you're only making $150,000 a year together. You're saving so much.
Well, we don't have debt except for our mortgage.
let's go back. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Let's go back. I got to find out how much money you have actually saved. So how much money is in your deferred comp?
So I just started this year. We have a Roth deferred comp.
Yep.
So that we can contribute like $30,500. So I started $450 a month on that. So for my deferred comp Roth, I have about $2,000.
Okay. What else you got?
And then my regular deferred comp, I have about $313,000.
Okay. And what about hubby? Did he have a retirement plan that he rolled over? Is it still out there? What's happening?
Yes, he's got a rollover IRA for about $60,000.
Okay.
And then he's got, through his current employer, he's got a Vanguard for about $203,000.
Wow. You said you mentioned Roths. What is in the Roth balance?
My husband's is about $65,000, and mine's about $130,000.
You guys are killing it. I can't even believe this. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. How much money do you guys have in non-retirement assets, like a brokerage account, and also maybe savings or CDs? What do you have that's liquid and available non-retirement?
So we probably have about $480,000 in investment accounts.
Wow.
Well, you know what? It's scary, though, because you save all your life and then you think, now I'm going to have to take and spend. And it's scary.
I get that it is, but I'm going to help you. I'm holding your hand. I promise you. I'm going to hold your hand. 480 in the brokerage account. Let me just go back here. So you guys make 150 grand a year. He, between his Social Security and part-time income, you make 105,000. You've got a couple $1,000s in this deferred comp Roth, 313,000 in the traditional deferred comp. He's got a rollover of 60. He's got the current retirement account, 203,000. Then in your Roth IRAs, you have about 195 grand between the two of you, plus 480 in brokerage. Oh my gosh. Okay. How about house? What is the house worth?
Probably about 500,000.
Is there a mortgage that's still on it?
Yes.
How much?
120,000.
What's the interest rate?
3.25%.
Beautiful. Okay. Do you guys have kids or no kids?
We do have kids.
Grown happily? Everyone okay?
Yes, but all happily. One is married with a 5-month-old, and another one just moved in with us with her 2-year-old, and then we've been raising her 12-year-old since he was in kindergarten.
Oh my God! Wait a second. Now I have a whole different So wait a second. One kid is okay. The other kid lives with you. So the married one has a 5-month-old, and you don't have to help out that one, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
But then there's another one, a daughter who lives with you.
Yes.
And has 2 kids.
Yes.
A 12-year-old, and what was the baby?
2-year-old.
2-year-old. Okay. We'll get back to Lori in just a minute. If you would like to join us, it's so easy. Just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. If you want to join us live on the program, check the box, and Mark will do everything else. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are the program that is focused on you. We are not selling anything. We don't really like to hear our own voices so much. We love to hear your voices. We're trying to help you make better financial decisions. And to do so, you have to do a tiny bit of work. Go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. And probably it's smart to bookmark it. You'll be back. Believe me, it's great stuff, and we change our content up all the time. JillOnMoney.com. And then in the upper right-hand corner, there is a Contact Us button. And just click that button and we will get your note. If you would like to join us live, then just check the box and Mark will do everything else. Hey, while you're on the website, I've got a great idea. You can check out our video show, our YouTube show. It's called Jill on Money, powered by the Compound. And once you do that, you'll be able to go investigate some of the cool Compound content, which is a little bit more investor heavy, but I think some of you may really like that. So again, go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. You'll see a link to our YouTube show, Jill on Money, powered by the Compound. You'll end up on YouTube and poof, you'll start seeing all the other content that is created by the Compound. All right, enough of that business. Right now, we are going back to listener Lori, who's on the line from Ohio. Do you have any money for those, the 12-year-old or the 2-year-old in education funds? Anything that you've set aside for those kids?
We have small. I opened a small brokerage account for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So probably about $3,000 each.
Okay. Are you one of the kinds of couples that you must treat your 2 children equally?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, because that's one of the toughest things, right? Because one is married and is doing okay on her own. The other one is with you and needs your help, right?
Right.
Okay. Is there some fear around retirement because of that extra or those extra mouths that are kind of living underneath your roof?
Maybe a teeny tiny bit,
Mm-hmm.
but not overly concerned about it.
Okay. Well, that's good. What do you think your expenses are on a monthly basis with your daughter, with the 2 grandkids and your husband? Like, what do you think all in you're really spending on a monthly basis?
Probably about 6,000, 6 or 7 maybe.
Let's say 7. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, tell me about, if you're eligible for retirement next year, what does the pension look like? If you said, okay, start it, let's go. What's the pension amount that you would receive?
So if I do not take a plop, it will be $6,173.
Okay.
If I take a plop of $225,000,
Yeah.
it'll be $4,953.
And since you have self-identified as being sort of nervous about this idea of being in retirement and saving your whole life and then having to turn the spigot on, I guess I wonder why we wouldn't just do the state pension, maybe take, is there a joint and survivor amount? In other words, if you were to predecease your husband, is there some way we could make sure he could receive that benefit?
So I didn't figure it that way because he's 10 years older than I am.
You're going to push him right over to the grave. Good luck, dude. Okay. Yeah. Statistically, you're right. Okay. So just so we're clear that this is usually through state plans, they do allow a lump sum out of some amount of money. But if you were to keep this 300, this is the 313, or is this something, is there an actual amount that the state pension is valued at on a cash value basis?
Well, right now it's 317,332.
Okay. So you could take out a chunk of the money and reduce the pension. But you already have chunks of money, right? I mean, you already have a deferred comp, rollover IRA for him and his current IRA, Roth IRAs, and $500,000 in a brokerage account. Mm-hmm. So you tell me, what would give you more peace of mind? Having a higher monthly income for the rest of your life? Is it inflation adjusted, by the way?
Yes.
Oh my God. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have another couple $100,000 where you would have control of it, but your check will go down by $2,000 a month? I'd rather have the higher number. Mark, what would you rather have?
It's a no-brainer. I mean, that higher amount basically covers her monthly nut.
That's it, man. Like, you're going to be able, between your pension, let's just say you retire next year, okay? And your husband's got the $45,000 a year coming in. You're probably going to do something, because it doesn't sound like you could do nothing your whole life. But let's just say you did nothing. Do you have any carve out for Social Security, or are you entitled to a full Social Security benefit?
I'm not, for our state, we are not entitled to a full, but I think I'll get, when I'm eligible, like about $350 a month.
Okay. But like your state pension and probably his income and all the money you have is like, it's amazing. And by the way, because you don't have an actual Social Security, I absolutely would choose the higher state pension amount.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. I want you to have consistent income that is inflation protected. And that is what you will be offered. Now, the idea of whether or not you should convert your money from a pre-tax into a Roth, I'm kind of feeling like maybe not. And here's why. I like that you have this $500,000. You already have $200,000 in a Roth. How old's your husband? You said is he 69?
Yes, he's 69.
So he's going to start having to take out his retirement, that $263,000, right? The current plus the rollover. He has to start taking his distributions.
Yes.
He'll take it out. Let's see how that goes. You're going to just take his required minimum distribution plus your state pension is all the money you guys are going to need. That's it.
Okay.
You're in great shape. If we just said your husband is going to take out from this day forward, okay, he's going to take out $2,000 a month from his pre-tax accounts. Let's just pretend that, or $3,000 a month. So then you'd have $6,173 from your state pension, $3,000 from his pension, and now you got $9,000. You pay your taxes, you live your life. Everything's good. Everything's really good. If you wanted to, we can make different decisions. I think we should talk in the next, you should stay in touch with us, because once you do retire, we should also talk about whether or not it makes sense to take some of the money from the brokerage account and put a little bit into some sort of education fund for the little ones. You don't have to do that right now. You're very young. Also want to say, you should not worry about paying for health insurance. So then instead of $7,000 a month, maybe it's going to be $8,000 a month. Like, really? You should do what you want to do. You have plenty of money.
Okay.
You really do. It's good. It's a good story. All right. Do you have your estate documents done?
They are old.
Must do this. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
If you intend to treat your children differently, you have to put that in estate documents.
Okay.
All right. It's kind of a drag. I get it. I don't want it to be bad for you, but I do want you to know that must be attended to.
Okay.
Okay. Deep breath. Deep breath, Lori. I think you're in good shape. You guys have done a remarkable job of saving. Everyone listening to this, these people are making $150,000 a year. What did your husband make when he was working?
Probably about $50,000 a year.
So basically, you guys have never made more than $150,000 or $160,000 a year,
Mm-hmm.
and you've saved all of this money.
Well, I started when I was in my 20s.
So what? I'm giving you a big pat on the back. I'm hugging you. You guys are amazing.
Yeah. It's
amazing.
Thank you.
Got over $1 million, girl.
Yeah.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
You're going to be in great shape. All right. Thank you for getting in touch with us, and keep us posted. If you need any help, let us know. If you've got a financial question or maybe a big life decision that somehow involves dollars and cents, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you want to come on the air, just check that box. Mark will do everything else. It's really easy. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show, and we'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we are answering financial questions that you pose to us. If you've got one, all you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Now, while you're on the website, you're going to see we've got a lot of content. I encourage you to check out our blog. We also have 2 different podcasts. I've got lots of videos up there. And of course, you should absolutely sign up for our free weekly newsletter, which comes out every single Friday. A wonderful way to tune up for your weekend. All right, so we are now going to take an email. This is from CJ. And CJ's subject is, ready? Doozy of a situation. So CJ says, I'm really excited to get your feedback on this. I am 57. My wife is 53. She stayed home and took care of our 2 kids. We have a pension, $84,000 a year, brokerage account of, oh my gosh, $4.5 million. Oh my God. Okay. There's a rollover IRA, $1.2 million, and 2 $50,000 Roths. A relative passed away last year and left me a lot of UPS stock, and I mean a lot. With this stock in my brokerage account, it tilts my diversification at 84% in UPS stock and 16% in other stocks. My relative was all in with UPS. Boy, that's something. My rollover and my Roths are all in index funds. And obviously, I want and need to diversify the brokerage account.
So this brokerage account is basically an inheritance. Crazy.
Yeah, and so just to be clear, again, this is a brokerage account of $4.5 million, guys. Okay. All right. Here's the big thought. From my relative's date of death cost basis, I am sitting with UPS stock at a capital loss of $682,000. Okay, so gang, let me just go through this a second. When somebody dies and leaves you stock, you don't get the person's cost basis that they accumulated. You get the cost basis on the date of death. That's like as if you bought the stock on the day that person died. So he's got whatever, $4 million that he bought in UPS stock. And right now, that stock has lost value of $682,000. Here's the question now. I'm thinking it makes sense for me to sell a big chunk of the stock, like 75%, and hang on to that capital loss for years to come. Then I'd reinvest the funds into something different that produced growth and dividends. My wife and I have created a budget just to live off my pension and dividends. It's got plenty of room and we're comfortable. Oh my gosh, kids are married, launched, blah, 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 no debt. House is worth $700,000. Okay, CJ, first of all, the one thing that I was laughing because I thought to myself, I thought you were going to ask me like, okay, now with the election or in is the tax law going to change? Should I do something different? So here is a very good idea for you. I love this concept where you sell. I don't know why we're even selling 75. I might sell the whole thing. You get $680,000 of capital loss. Now, why is this so important? Okay, so today, capital gains rates are really low. They really are. Okay. Just remember that the long-term capital gains rate goes from 0 to 23.8%. But, one thing that's interesting, it's not just the election, but the political winds could change over your lifetime. You're a youngish guy, you're in your 50s. But think about this. How valuable will those losses be if all of a sudden capital gains rates went back up to 28%? Or went to 31% so imagine how valuable those losses would be if you just had them. And you would be able to actually you could basically trade your account and just rebalance all the time. It wouldn't matter. I would take all those losses and, you're going to make a clunker of a decision here or there, and you'll be able to rebalance whenever like that. I would even say, Mark, he could rebalance like at least twice a year, maybe quarterly. Maybe that he should be doing quarterly rebalancing and he won't have to worry about it. I kind of love this, CJ. I like the idea. Okay, this is Sarah who writes, hi, Jill and Mark. First of all, I want to say I love your podcasts and your books. My question is about the 4% rule. I can't tell you how many articles I've read about this 4% rule. And what they aren't specific about is A, is the 4% rule the amount that you can withdraw in retirement inclusive of the dividends and or interest you receive on your investments? Or Is the 4% rule the amount you can take out of your capital each year and spend on top of the dividends interest you earn on your investments? I hope you choose this question because it's driving me nuts. Sarah will turn 65 next year. She'll be retiring soon. She can't find anywhere that clarifies. Let's clarify this, Mark. Okay. A 4% rule, just to go back in time, the 4% rule is the amount that you can safely withdraw from a portfolio over time in retirement and hopefully not run out of money. And that does inclusive of dividends and interest. It's not like you can take it on top of. It's all part of the same pot. Okay. Now, the idea of 4% is a rule that essentially has been tinkered with over time. So, by the way, I was recently on Ask the Compound with my friend Ben, and we answered a question about this, and I find it kind of interesting because it kind of depends on how risk averse you are. Often you'll hear me say do 3 or 3.5%. Ben put a chart up, which kind of blew my mind. It was essentially that really the 4% rule does work. Very few people are running out of money pulling 4% out. So I think that that's something that you may want to think about. And if you'd like to read more, Ben Carlson is a great writer and he has a wonderful blog. He's also one of the hosts, but his blog is called A Wealth of Common Sense. If you've got a question and you're a little shy, I understand. People don't love to come on and talk, but you can always change your name. But if you just want to make yourself anonymous, that's fine too. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and let us know if you want to join us live, or if you don't and you want to send us an email, be sure to send us a lot of information about yourself because it's hard for us to know where to go with incomplete information. So please do that. Okay, it is the Jill on Money Show. We're answering your questions and we love doing that. We'll be right back.
401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are the program that tries to take the mystery out of your financial life. And remember, this is a show where we're trying to underscore that money, it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be boring. It is a tool to get you where you want to go, wherever you are. And we are here to help you out. If you've got a question, all you need to do is go to the website, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. We'll get your note. Right now, let's do an email. This is from Shannon, who wants to talk about capital gains and dividends. And we started the show talking about that because capital gains rates and dividends have changed over time. Right now, long-term capital gains rates are really low, and dividends are just taxed at your ordinary income tax rates. And so remember that the tax rate applies to a big bracket, and marginal taxes are 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, 37. There we go. There are also some extra taxes that get thrown in. Sometimes this is for people who make more than $250,000 as joint filers or $200,000 as single filers, where you get an extra chunk of money that is taken out for Medicare, and sometimes it's for a surtax on your investment income or your capital gains rates. So all these are factored in. Okay. Now, let me get to Shannon's question. The question is, does this apply to holdings in brokerage accounts? In other words, holdings in 401ks and IRAs, they're not affected, right? Correct. That's perfect. That's exactly right. But any pre-tax money in those accounts obviously is going to be impacted by tax rates and brackets. And money that you take out of a Roth, not taxed at all, which is why we love Roths so much. So I hope that helps you. And let's see. Okay. Here we have a question from Bill. Another reason to pay down the mortgage? An ARM. Okay. Hi, Mark and Jill. I know the rule. You've got a 3% mortgage. Don't pay it down early. What if the mortgage is a 7-year adjustable rate mortgage? And the thought of this running out in 2027 makes me very uncomfortable. Maybe making those extra payments on the mortgage is better than getting a future refi that makes our monthly payment go way up. I'm freaking out a little bit. Everything else is in a good place financially. Thank you. You know, Bill, I think this really depends on where this extra money is coming from and what it's doing. So are you suggesting, again, you didn't give me the numbers, but let's just make this like you have $1 million house and there's say 300 or 400 grand left on this. And you're saying, I'm going to take money out of a brokerage account and pay it down and lose my liquidity. Is that the question? Is it I'm going to use cash flow to pay it down? I need to know more information. And if everything else is in a good place financially, maybe I would think that paying down a 3% mortgage over that time is worth it. But also maybe what I would do is I would just invest the money because 2027, it's not tomorrow, it's a few years. Maybe we would want to do something with that. Or maybe we would take money right now that you have and lock it up in a 5% CD for the next few years. I don't know, but I want to know so much more about you, Bill, because I think that is something that's really, really important. Oh, I think I forgot one here. This is from Tim. This is a question about retirement assumptions. What's your opinion on investment return rate and inflation for future projections? I'm a do-it-yourselfer, spreadsheet nerd who's been retired several years. I used a 5% investment return for many years before retiring. I continue to use it. Well, things are looking pretty good for you. And Tim's brokerage account calculates the actual return, and the 10 year has been 10.8%. Now, Tim's also been using a 3% inflation rate for living expenses and 1% for Social Security cost of living adjustments. I've also adjusted tax expense for required minimum distributions when we turn 73 in a few years. My strategy has been to project these numbers out more years than I plan to live, update the number regularly, and if it ever looked like our spending wouldn't be sustainable, we could reduce our spending, or maybe my wife could go back to work. Don't send your wife back to work just yet. Okay, no crystal ball, just what you and Mark think about these assumptions. Okay, so here's what I like to do when I'm thinking about this. Here's the kind of assumptions I love to consider. So for example, like we're not talking about elections and markets and who's going to do what. Let's talk with what we know today. We know what the tax rate is today. And I would use today's tax rates. I really would, because that's the only rate we know. Okay. Next, for investment returns, maybe if you've gotten a 10.8% average 10-year return, my guess is that you're sort of tilted towards like a 70-30 portfolio. You know, I still would rather, I don't know. I never use less than 6% unless someone's so wimpy. I don't know, Mark. I think 6% is fine. Maybe 6 or 7% would be fine. I think using an inflation rate of 3% is fine. And by the way, whatever you're using for inflation is exactly what you should use for your Social Security COLA, because they are linked automatically. There's no need to do it separately, right? I don't think your wife has to go back to work. I think you're fine.
I always use 6. And inflation, I always use 3. You know, I kind of do a lot of these spreadsheets as well. So when I factor in inflation and dividend yield, the return usually comes out to around like 5.3-ish.
All right. And so if you wanted to say after tax, like it's 5, that's fine. Yeah. That's good. That's good for me. I feel good about that. If you have a question, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. It's just that easy. If you want to join us live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here answering your financial questions. If you've got one, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and we'll get your note. That's the email that we'll receive, and we do emails all the time, right? And if you want to join us live, check the box and Mark will do everything else. This email is from Matt, who writes, all of us regular listeners know to check our credit reports on a regular basis and also to have our estate planning complete. I know, Matt, I really do drill that home. I know it probably gets a little boring, but it's so important. Matt goes on to write, how do you handle the case where a family member has passed away without any financial planning? As in, how do you find open bank accounts, as none of them are on the credit reports? Or how would someone find a bank account that an ex-spouse had opened in their name? Opening a checking account is just as bad as many other kinds of credit fraud. Oh my gosh, Matt. Well, first of all, if a relative has passed away, my guess is that this person, if they've done no financial planning, they probably haven't done any estate planning, which probably means that this is an estate that will have to be probated. And part of the probate process is actually discovering these kinds of issues. So I would keep a lookout for the probate in the state where the person passed away. And if you need some help, I would also encourage you maybe to talk to an estate planning attorney yourself in order to make sure that you really understand all the different issues that could be arising. And maybe you get together with some other family members to do this. What a terrible thing, by the way, to die like that. I know that I sound a little bit like a broken record when I tell you to do your estate planning and to make sure people know where your documents are, but it's for these situations. When you die without any estate documents, it just leaves a hot mess for someone to clean up. And that's not really fair. This is not a great thing. If you don't want to spring for a big-time estate planning attorney, even though I think it's usually worth it, but okay, you can do it online. Really, it would be fine. But please just do something. All right, that's it. That's my speech. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are here answering your financial questions. If you've got one, all you need to do is go to our website. It's jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, and if you want to join us live, all you need to do is check the box, and the executive producer extraordinaire, Mark Talercia, will do everything else. While you're on the website, don't forget, we've got a bunch of great content there. You can sign up for our free weekly newsletter. You can read the blog. You can check out the resources section. If you've got a few bucks to spend, you can subscribe to our service. It's called Jill on Money Live. For $35 for the next 12 months, you will have access to quarterly live webinars. Also, you can watch the back catalog and special video content, all for $35. So please check that out. Okay, now let's get to you. This is an email from R, I'm not going to say the name, who wants to help his son and daughter-in-law purchase a house in an expensive city. So he's 69. His son and daughter-in-law are 30. They're getting married, or future daughter-in-law. They're going to get married shortly, and loves them. He says that he and his wife have managed to accumulate a bunch of money, investments, inheritance. Anyway, they've got $3.4 million, okay? He goes through, he gives me all the numbers, right? Okay, but here's the most important thing. So $3.4 million, bunch of money that they have amassed. The son is making a little over 100 grand, the future daughter-in-law 40. So they'll make 140 grand. Right now, he and his wife will have about 100 grand from pensions and Social Security, and he says they can easily live on that. His own house is paid off. So here's the question. the house that they want to buy will cost about $1 million. Should the parents take a chunk of money, maybe, I don't know, let's say gift a bunch, maybe hold paper on a bunch, meaning extend a loan? Should the parents help make that happen? I kind of feel like this is a no-brainer. If you can live on a certain amount of money and you want to help your kids get into a house and you are lucky enough to be able to do that, I say go for it. It is really hard to buy a house right now. I mean, if you look at these 30-year-olds, they're making 140 grand a year. It's a lot of money in a lot of markets, not in this market. This is a very expensive market where they live. And I think that as long as you're not putting your own life and your own plans at risk, then I don't see why you wouldn't do this. Now, you can certainly do gifting. And so obviously you can start gifting to the kids, or you can just say, here is the gift of, the whole down payment. And you can maybe create a loan document between the two of you. You could maybe even forgive the loan a little bit over the time. But he does say that he's going to get it all written up by an attorney. Interest from the loan would increase their income. But you know what? I have no problem with this. I think it's a great idea. And I think it's really nice when you can actually do these things and not have any downside to your own financial life. This is from Manish, who says, thank you for putting out the podcast. I love listening to it every morning. And after hearing all the advice, I'm wondering what advice you would give to me. I am 42. My wife is 41. I have a 7-year-old and a 6-year-old. We live in Michigan. Okay. The goal is to be financially independent when they get to be in their early 50s, but I think we will work as long as we can. So in other words, 10 years, we need to get them at least the freedom feeling, right? And then they think that they want to move from the Midwest to the East Coast, which probably would be more expensive is my guess. So let's see what they got. Wife makes 86 grand a year. Husband makes 140 grand a year. Okay. They have a good chunk of money because he's got some money in, like, between the 401ks is about 300,000 in pre-tax. Then in Roth, it's about 60,000. Brokerage, it's about 50,000. Then they have a $200,000 CD. My God. So cash of 240, 50, 250. They've got some money that's put aside for the kids in an account. They've got a $670,000 house with a $520,000 mortgage. The interest rate is 4.85%. $8,000 a month is their monthly expense. Mark, I don't feel like they're going to be financially independent in the early 50s. What do you think? You're
financially
working
independent? No. Are they on the right track? Yes.
Yeah, right track. 50s is not your number. Early 60s is your number. And maybe that was a typo. There's no way this is early 50s.
Especially if they're moving to the East Coast where the cost of living is only going to go up.
But I want you to give us a holler. I'll walk you through why not, but you're on the right track. Okay. Wendy says, subject, retirement planning. Okay, here's the message. It seems all the financial planning shows are about buying annuities. You know what? They're not financial planning shows. Those are salesmen who bought time on the radio and podcasts. Okay. And Wendy's like, I always thought these weren't a good idea. Are there firms that can do good financial planning that also can advise about taxes, where to withdraw funds? I, like many people, don't have an accountant. I do my own taxes. Good for you, Wendy. Wendy, you know what? This is the thing. There are plenty of places where you can get financial planning, okay? What you should be looking at is this person a fiduciary? Do they have to put your best interest first? And if you really don't want anyone who's selling product, what you have to do is check out the NAPFA website, the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors, NAPFA, NAPFA.org. Here's why. The NAPFA advisor is somebody who is what they call fee only. That means Doesn't mean that they can't charge you an asset under management fee, but they are fee only. They do not actually sell product. That's it. And when you look about what NAPFA really does, they do financial planning. That's really what they're about. So I encourage you to check that out. I think that would be a very good antidote to your why is everyone just selling product. Give us a holler if you have more questions. If you've got a financial question, maybe it's keeping you up at night, or maybe it's been bubbling, maybe it's a low-level thing, you just want to unload it, let us help you. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and write us a note. If you want to join us live, you check the box and Mark does everything else. And while you're on the website, you should absolutely check out our YouTube show. We've got a link right there. Fun videos. It's called Jill on Money, powered by the Compound. And we'll take you right there. It's very easy to do. And maybe you just save that for something else later. You can subscribe to that show right on the YouTube website. So check that out. It's a lot of fun. All right, the Jill on Money Show will be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are trying to help you make sense of your finances. Right now, let's go to an email. This is from Matt, who writes, "Hello, Jill. I love the podcast. We are in our late 30s. We've got 2 kids under the age of 5. We just sold our house and pocketed $200,000 for a future home purchase. We have moved in with family as we haven't found a house yet. Our current house hunt is for that forever home, and the price tag will likely be $800,000 to $1 million. Total income is around $400,000. Total assets include $250,000 in brokerage, $650,000 in a 401k pre-tax, $120,000 in a Roth IRA, $25,000 in HSA, $65,000 in 529s and UTMA accounts. And then, of course, the $200,000 from the recent house sale. Okay, we are now debating, should we sell some of the brokerage to put 20% down or putting less than 20% down? We do qualify for physician loans, and that would allow us to do 5 or 10% down with no PMI, but a slightly higher rate. I'm fine with debt. I do love having the flexibility of a large brokerage account to weather a layoff or maybe even for early retirement. Thanks. I think we just look at the 200 as your when you say 800 to $1 million, I presume it's going to be $1 million because that's usually what happens. I would just always put 20% down. I wouldn't put less than 20 down, and I wouldn't put more than 20 down. That's what I would do. You've got such a nice chunk of money, in your late 30s with, essentially $1 million. It's great. So I wouldn't put more than the 20% down, and I definitely would not put less than it down. I know it's very wimpy. A lot of people would. I don't like it. I think some rules of thumb actually make sense. That 20% down, that's one of them. Okay. This is from Elizabeth, who writes about a couple of housekeeping questions. Okay. Elizabeth is 39 years old and her husband is 44. They've got kids who are 3 and 7. I love my younger listeners, Mark. It's very excellent. Their household income is $135,000. Her husband has 20 to 25 years of term life insurance, about $500,000. Elizabeth has a 30-year term for $1 million. They have whole life insurance policies. Already my stomach's turning. Okay. They purchased them in 2011. You know why that's good? Because that essentially means that those policies probably don't have any fees to get out. Elizabeth has a $25,000 whole life policy, which now has a cash value of what she'd really get out is just about $3,000. So both of them have that. They've got a house that's worth $540,000. They have a 3.44% mortgage for $375,000. He has a Roth at $35,000. She has a Roth $195,000. Then there's some pre-tax money of about $276,000 between the two of them, and an HSA for $10,000, taxable account $77,000, 529s with $14,000 between the two kids. And you ready for this? Here's the punchline, Mark. Combo of CDs and high yield savings accounts of $328,000. That's a lot. So she goes on to write, we know that we have, quote, too much money in CDs and high yield savings. Currently, the rates are between 5.25% and 6%. We're trying to keep that money a bit more fluid due to uncertainty on a potential international move. Okay, wait a sec. They're putting away $2,600 a year into their taxable account and $12,000-ish into her 401k. Okay. If we want to keep the $328,000 liquid, is there anything else we should be thinking about? We are earning a decent amount of interest on this money, and we've just been reinvesting. Any thoughts here? Second question is about 401k. It's all pre-tax. Should I switch to the Roth option? Third, should I drop the $25,000 whole life insurance policies? I've been thinking about dropping it for a year. I haven't had the guts to do it. It would free up a little bit of money. How do we do this? What do we do with the lump sum? Is it taxable? Okay, Elizabeth, let's first do the easy one. Yeah, get rid of the whole life policies. It's ridiculous. Before you just get done with them, just ask the insurance company, what is the tax liability if I cash these out? And don't call the agent. Call the company where it's held, and they'll tell you that exact question, the answer to that question. Okay, it's not going to be a lot of money. You only owned it for 10 or 12 years. So the tax hit is usually you calculate everything that you've put into the policy. And if the money you're getting out, which again, it's not that much money for you guys. You said that it's $3,000. So I don't know if you've put more or less than $3,000, but there's not going to be a big tax hit one way or the other. Okay, so that's number one. Get rid of it. Call first. Next, 401k. You know what I was interested in? It's like, she has the household annual income. It sounded to me like she's working, but he's not. And I'm not sure about that, but it seems like because you're the only one making a retirement contribution. So if your household income's $135,000, it should all be Roth. Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. I need to know more about this international move, because if you want to keep everything liquid, it's fine. You can have CDs, but do you really need this much money liquid? I think these interest rates are going to come down. It sounds like you're doing a good job juggling it, but you know what? I'm not convinced that you need all that money. So I need to know more information. Okay. This is from Chris, who writes, I really enjoy the show and the optimism and excitement that you and Mark bring to retirement savings and preparation. Mark, we are so not optimistic, but we are excited about this stuff.
He can't be talking about me.
It's certainly not talking about me. I'm not an optimist. I'm a pessimist about everything. I always tell everybody, let's talk about your death. Let's think about what would happen if. But we bring it to all financial planning, not just retirement savings. We bring it to planning because we like planning. Okay, so here we go. Chris is 50. And his wife is 46. They've got 3 kids in middle and elementary school. They live in the tri-state area, New Jersey. They make a bunch of money, $500,000 together. And they also get some restricted stock units. Okay. We are currently focused on saving for college and our retirement. And we feel like we're in good shape between what we're putting away and pensions, oh my God, that they have from prior government careers. I am somewhat concerned, however, that the bulk of our retirement savings will be in pre-tax accounts if we continue on our current path. All right. What should we do now to maximize our investments and limit our tax liability in retirement? Should I be investing in a Roth 401k or a brokerage account? Should we work to pay off the mortgage? I know you hate that idea, but our interest rate is 6.625%. Yikes. We're planning to work till 65 and 62 respectively. We'd love to retire early if possible. Thank you so much, Chris. Okay. Look, you didn't give us the actual dollar amounts. So I would not pay down your mortgage. You're probably going to have a chance to refinance your mortgage. You are in a high tax state. You are in a high income situation. But since you've only been doing pre-tax, why not hedge the bet a little bit and see if you might want to put money into a Roth? I think that might be helpful for you. And, there's something to be said for the fact that you can only do this through work because there's no income test. It does show you that the government thinks this is actually a very good deal for, especially with people who make money. You're going to have income throughout your lives. I wouldn't mind hedging my bet and do the Roth 401k, but I would love for you to follow up and give us the actual numbers in all of these accounts. What I do know is that if you hate the idea of a 6.625% mortgage interest rate, if you love the idea of potentially retiring earlier, having your money accessible to you is incredibly important. So I would consider that, okay? If you would like to ask us a question, just go to jillonmoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's go to an email from Jackie. Subject, do I need my financial advisor? Hi, Jill and Mark. I'm new to your show this year. All right, Jackie. And so here's the question. Can you help me decide if my financial advisor is a good investment or not necessary? I hired the firm to help consolidate our retirement accounts to a more cost-effective company, which is now at Schwab, and to help me loosen up about our finances. Okay, they have been awesome and charged $150 a month while I have been in medical training. Now I've graduated, the fee is going up to $500 a month. Our entire retirement portfolio is $190,000. Okay, so we're going to get charged $6,000 based on your 100. It's a very funny thing to charge it by the month, but okay. So it does sound expensive to me, Mark. That sounds like a pretty hefty charge, 3%. What do you think? Okay. I'm active duty military. I have a wife. No kids, hopefully soon. Fingers crossed. Okay. Jackie's 31, wife's 42. They make about 178, about 190 grand a year. They spend $9 grand a month. They've got a couple of debts, very low interest rates. Car, $8,300, 2.2%. Mortgage, 2.75%. They've got a $600,000 home. That mortgage is about 380 grand. They have a Roth IRA, 80,000 in a Roth IRA, 34,000 in a Roth, another Roth retirement account. Thrift savings plan, because remember, active duty military, 35 grand. Individual 401k, Roth 401k, bunch of stuff. Okay. They are maxing out their Roth IRAs. She's maxing her Roth thrift savings plan with a 5% match. And amazing, and putting about $1,200 a month into an individual retirement account. Okay, here's the asset allocation. U.S. total market, 13%. U.S. small cap, 13%. You're finally making money, as in the last few weeks. International total market, 28%. Emerging markets, 8%. Real estate, 9%. U.S. bonds, fixed income. And these are mostly exchange-traded funds. Okay, Mark Talercio, I ask you, can we help decide if Jackie and her wife need this financial advisor or not? I'm going to tell you what I think, but I'll let you go first.
It's a lot of money, $500 a month for the level of assets that they have. It's a lot. So no, I don't think they need it. even just looking at the asset allocation, they have a total stock market of 32%, a U.S. small cap of 13%. Well, guess what? That small cap is also in that total stock market fund. So
I know.
That's 13% duplication right there.
Right.
So no, they don't need it, but she also says she's really uptight about her finances. So,
but maybe she's less uptight right now.
Maybe, or maybe there's just a cheaper option.
Okay. I think there's two things. One is you're putting away a lot of money. You're doing the heavy lifting. That's what saving and investing is. You are doing that heavy lifting. Okay. What I think you should consider is maybe instead of paying this firm 3%, maybe you go into like an intermediary step whereby you use the Charles Schwab Robo-advisor, meaning that it's an automated investing platform, right? And you can use this. You'll be able to use exchange traded funds. You'll put in what your goals are, and you'll have a short questionnaire, and it'll be like your goals, your risk tolerance, when you need the money and all that. And then it will just happen for you kind of automatically. Maybe that's your interim step, Jackie. Maybe that's what you do. I mean, you could do it all on your own, but that could be a nice interim step, and maybe that would help out. If you have another question, we'd love to help you out also. We'll happily talk to you, okay? This is a question from Brooke, who writes, my husband and I are 46 years old, and we're turning our attention to how our retirement savings could provide income and healthcare needs in our retirement years. Okay, they've got $1.6 million saved in employer plans. However, there is dementia on one side of the family. But after my experience with the limitations of long-term care insurance with my mom, our financial advisor has suggested for both tax reasons as well as flexibility, we should consider a whole life policy that allows us to take loans against the death benefit to earn income. Right now, we're looking at a product with a $250,000 death benefit per person. We would need to pay $152,000 in premiums over 10 years for the numbers to work, and it would generate $32,000 a year in tax-free income starting at the age of 66. We're very unsure as to whether this is a smart choice for us. We have 529 accounts for our 15 and 12-year-old children and still maintain a mortgage on our home. Love your show and straightforward practical advice. Get ready for your straightforward practical advice. You ready? Do me a favor. Get rid of this financial advisor. This is a lousy idea. Terrible, terrible idea. An expensive way to save for a potential that may or may not ever occur. Just no. I can't say no strongly enough. Mark, would you like to weigh in?
I lean with you. I don't want to dismiss the medical issues if they certainly exist and there's history of this in their family.
Yeah, but like big deal. Like my grandfather has Alzheimer's. It doesn't mean that there's going to be, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't mean that someone should sell me a product. If you're going to do this, I would love to hear more from you. And I want to know exactly how you pay this financial advisor and what will this financial advisor receive in commission if you do this? That's another question. But why don't you all right, I'll now say you're right. I should be nicer about this, but I don't think that this is likely to be the most efficient way for you to address this fear. That's what I want to say. Here we have another 401k Roth versus traditional. Jason is a 53-year-old dude. He's married to a 45-year-old woman. She's an educator. They've got 14-year-old and a 9-year-old. All the retirement savings are pre-tax, everything. She's going to have a pension at age 55 or later, depending on her date of retirement. Main question, new employer offers a Roth. And isn't that great? Okay. Hoping to retire simultaneously with my wife when she turns 55 in 10 years. Should I start contributing to a Roth? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't understand. Like it's, especially if you know you're going to have pension income of 60,000, then 2 Social Security checks. Yes, they've got about $1.5 million in their pre-tax accounts. So let's get that going. You asked if you're on track to retire in 10 years. I don't know. How much do you spend? Pretty big question, Jason. You have to follow up and let us know how much money you're spending, and then we'll be able to help you out. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. To do so, all you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Right now, let's go to an email. This is from Fred, who is a retired federal employee. As a retired federal employee for the last several years, I needed to start withdrawing the required minimum distribution from my thrift savings plan. Okay, the question is, does the TSP follow the same rules as a traditional IRA when it comes to withdrawal? In other words, I know the traditional IRA withdrawal has several tables to follow. Does this also apply to the TSP? Poor Fred is like, oh, IRS and the thrift savings plan haven't responded to my question. I'm guessing that it's probably the same, but if they don't give you an answer, you can always do it one way. You can just do a uniform for this year and then kind of wait to see. I might even talk to a CPA about this because I think that is something that they should know, right? That seems like the good one. All right, Mark, are you ready for this one? This is a question, Mark, that we're going to end the program with this question. And here is the thing. It's going to really cause people to lose their minds. All right? Because here's what the subject line is. 39 years old, $8 million, terrified to spend it. Okay. I have a question for you, writes Anonymous. There's so much talk about dreaded required minimum distributions. Maybe we aren't thinking about it correctly. I am financially very secure at age 39. I am terribly frugal, and I'm only getting more so as I get older. I have $8 million in Vanguard. $8 million. Dude's 39. My wife and I have salaries of about $800,000 per year. It's stable, should continue. Kids' 529s are covered. I'll probably work for a very long time, as I have. You ready for this, Mark? No hobbies, interests, etc. Yes, that is a problem. I know. We are in a high tax state. I've always done pre-tax 401ks. They've got $1.5 million in their 401k. Okay. But remember, he's got $8 million total. I hate taxes and being a partner to the government with a 401k. Neither of us has a pension. What a piker that he's like, no, I hate being a partner to the government. This is the best country in the world. You got $8 million, buddy. Come on now. Can I just think of the 401k as a pension? I'm cheap. It would like having a forced way of paying myself each month. You know what I wanted to say? He says, I know my situation is unique. The collective, maybe we as a collective, we need to reassess how we think about RMDs. I think that okay, let me start by saying I agree that we do need to reassess how we think about it. There are two things to really keep in mind. Number one is that when money is forced out at a time when you don't know what your tax rate's going to be, it's a little bit unnerving. Now, listen, if I had $8 million, I don't think I'd really care about it. But okay, let's say you do care. So there is this idea like, well, if I move to a different state that does no state income tax, I'll minimize some of the tax hit. True. But you're really young. So another fact to consider is that you have low tax brackets right now. Maybe the best thing you can do is take that $1.5 million. You're in the highest tax bracket. You're probably going to stay in the highest tax bracket for the rest of your life. Maybe you should just convert the money and you have the money to pay the tax today. And why not? Why worry about it? So I don't know. That's another way to think about it. I think that when we focus on RMDs, when Mark and I are focusing on them, we want to make sure people understand that this money that is forced out to you at a different time in your life is uncertain, and we don't like uncertainty. So if you can make your tax situation more certain, then perhaps you have an advantage. So that's why we love the conversion to a Roth, paying the taxes today at rates that we know are low. These are low rates for taxes. So maybe the anonymous question is raising a good point in that we do need to be clear about how we think about this. We do need to flip the script a little bit. But anonymous, get a freaking hobby. Mark loves gardening. Has that been a game changer for you, Mark?
Yeah, I will definitely, we're about 4 or 6 weeks. It's all going to be over. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with myself.
You know what you're going to do? You're going to you have to do some fall flowers. Maybe you just go out of the veggies.
I mean, I'm out there every day. It's like my therapy. I just go out there. I talk to my plants. It's very relaxing.
It is very relaxing. I don't know. Anonymous, can you come on the air with us? I would love to talk you through this. Yes, of course, you can think of a required minimum distribution as money that's going to be like paid to you, but you're not going to spend it anyway. Because if you're not spending money now and you're making $800,000 a year, you got some issues. So you're going to just keep piling up money. You guys have focused on taxes so much. You got to remember, my dad used to say, those who worry about taxes will soon have a real worry on their plate when you don't have to pay any taxes. That's not fun either. And you're in a beautiful situation. Try to enjoy what you have. You are not just very financially secure at 39, you're killing it. It seems so petty to focus on, I have to pay so much in taxes. I hate being a partner with Uncle Sam. I know we always joke about this with Ed Slott, but Ed's the guy who loves to say, like, hey, you know what? Tax rates are really low. You can take advantage of that. If you don't want to be a partner to Uncle Sam long term, then stop using your pre-tax 401k and start converting that money right now. If you've got something going on in your financial life, we'd love to help you out. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. It's just that easy. Don't forget to check the box if you want to join us on the air live. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we conclude the program, we are going to read one more email. This is from Diana, who writes, I have a 401k from a company I worked at 30 years ago. I want to roll over that 401k directly into an IRA rollover account, which would be under my control. I'm constantly being told that I have to pay taxes, even though I am working and I have no intention of taking the money out. I have a relative who's been in the business for over 40 years, and he says I don't need to pay taxes until I take the money out to use. Can you please clarify this for me? Well, Diana, there's an interim question that I have to ask, which I'm going to just make a presumption. But the question really is, are you over the age at which you must start pulling money out of the account? In other words, are you 73 or 74 or 75 years old? Are you required by the government to start pulling money out via required minimum distributions? I'm going to guess that you're not. You're not that old. You don't have to start taking those RMDs, in which case your relative is exactly correct, meaning that when you have an account at an old 401k, place you no longer work, and you transfer that directly, not getting a check from the company, not any interim step. It goes directly from the 401k to the new rollover IRA account, then you will not have to pay any taxes. So what I suggest is that you contact some firm to receive this rollover and let them help you with the process so that there are no questions asked. I hope that helps. Okay, that is it. That is the program. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and the king of all things web here at Jill on Money. As always, we ask that you try to do something nice for someone else today. It's going to make that person feel good. It's going to make you feel good. I promise. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.